In a land where dinosaurs roamed freely, a ferocious Saurophaganx with purple glowing eyes stood idly on the ground, its gaze piercing through the darkness of the night. Suddenly, something hit it from behind, sending the massive predator flying through the air and crashing into a large rock, shattering it upon impact. As Saurophaganx got up, slightly disoriented, it came face to face with a towering Ampelosaurus with purple glowing eyes, staring right at it. "About time," said Saurophaganx with purple glowing eyes, a fierce determination in its voice as it prepared to fight the purple-eyed Ampelosaurus. The two dinosaurs clashed, their brute strength shaking the ground beneath them. They fought endlessly and disastrously, causing shockwaves wherever they passed. The Ampelosaurus used its increasingly fast-paced reaction speed to outmaneuver Saurophaganx, grabbing its tail and throwing it heavily against a nearby rock. With a thunderous roar, Ampelosaurus rammed into the purple-eyed Saurophaganx, using its massive body as a battering ram. But Saurophaganx was not to be outdone. It started to leap and land on the back of the Ampelosaurus, only to be shaken off. The two dinosaurs continued their brutal battle, exchanging counter blows with incredible speed and power. The force of their impacts generated explosions all around them, lighting up the night sky with bursts of light. Saurophaganx scratched at the Ampelosaurus with its clawed arms and jaws filled with razor-sharp teeth, but the resilient dinosaur regenerated its injuries. Suddenly, the Ampelosaurus teleported near Saurophaganx, stomping heavily on it with massive front limbs. In a desperate move, Saurophaganx grabbed the Ampelosaurus by its tail with its jaws, thrashing it and throwing it into another rock with immense force. The Ampelosaurus was knocked out, lying defeated on the ground. But victory came at a cost. Saurophaganx, heavily panting and exhausted from the endless battle, also fell to the ground, its body giving in to the injuries sustained during the brutal fight. As the screen focused on the vision of both dinosaurs slowly going dark, their eyes closing in defeat, the once mighty creatures lay motionless and lifeless on the destroyed battlefield. The ground around them was littered with debris, the echoes of their battle still ringing in the air. The once serene landscape now bore the scars of their destructive clash, a testament to the immense power and ferocity of these ancient beasts. As the sun rose on the horizon, casting its golden light over the battlefield, the defeated Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus remained frozen in time, a haunting reminder of the fierce struggle that had unfolded there. The world may have moved on, but the legacy of their epic battle would live on in legend, a tale of strength, determination, and the relentless pursuit of victory. Words. 455. Words. 403. Saurophaganx stood with purple glowing eyes, scanning the area for any potential threats. Suddenly, a massive force hit it from behind, sending the dinosaur flying through the air and crashing into a large rock, shattering it upon impact. As Saurophaganx got up, slightly disoriented, it saw the purple-eyed Ampelosaurus staring right at it. With a deep growl, Saurophaganx said, "About time." Without hesitation, the two dinosaurs charged at each other, engaging in a brutal battle that seemed to have no end. They clashed endlessly, their movements causing shockwaves to ripple through the surrounding landscape. Ampelosaurus utilized its incredibly fast reaction speed to outmaneuver Saurophaganx, grabbing its tail and throwing it heavily into a nearby rock. Saurophaganx retaliated by leaping onto the back of the Ampelosaurus, but was quickly shaken off. The fight continued with escalating intensity, each dinosaur exchanging powerful blows and counterattacks. The sound of their roars echoed through the air as explosions erupted from their collisions. Saurophaganx slashed at the Ampelosaurus with its clawed arms and razor-sharp teeth, only for the resilient creature to regenerate and teleport near its adversary, stomping on it with its massive front limbs. The battle raged on, with neither dinosaur showing any signs of backing down. In a final desperate move, Saurophaganx managed to grab the Ampelosaurus by its tail, thrashing it and hurling it into a rock with devastating force. The Ampelosaurus lay motionless on the ground, defeated. As Saurophaganx stood panting from the relentless battle, the screen focused on the vision of the defeated Ampelosaurus slowly fading to black, its eyes closing as it succumbed to its injuries. Saurophaganx, too, fell to the ground, lifeless and defeated. The once thriving landscape now lay in ruins, a testament to the destructive power of the two mighty dinosaurs. The screen lingered on the sight of the motionless and lifeless creatures, the battle between them finally coming to an end. As the dust settled, a sense of melancholy filled the air, a reminder of the ferocity and unforgiving nature of the prehistoric world. The remains of the dinosaurs served as a silent testament to the epic battle that had taken place, a tale of strength, resilience, and ultimately, defeat. And so, the once fierce Saurophaganx and the powerful Ampelosaurus lay entwined in a final embrace, their legacy etched into the annals of history as a testament to the unyielding spirit of the ancient creatures that once roamed the earth. Words. 448. The sun was setting on the prehistoric landscape, casting a golden hue over the massive dinosaurs that roamed the earth. Saurophaganx, the imposing carnivorous dinosaur with purple glowing eyes, stood idly on the ground, its long clawed arms flexing as it surveyed the area. Suddenly, something hit Saurophaganx from behind, sending the massive beast flying through the air and crashing into a rock. The impact shattered the rock upon contact, but Saurophaganx quickly got to its feet, slightly disoriented. As it regained its bearings, Saurophaganx locked eyes with another dinosaur, the purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, a medium-sized herbivore with armor on its back. The two dinosaurs stared each other down, a silent challenge passing between them. "About time," Saurophaganx rumbled, its purple eyes flashing with determination. It was time to fight. The two dinosaurs clashed, their immense bodies creating shockwaves wherever they collided. Ampelosaurus used its increasingly fast reaction speed to outmaneuver Saurophaganx, grabbing its tail and throwing it heavily into a rock. Saurophaganx retaliated by leaping onto Ampelosaurus's back, but the herbivore shook it off with a powerful shake. The battle raged on, both dinosaurs exchanging blows in a flurry of claws, teeth, and tail swipes. The ground trembled beneath their feet as they continued to clash, each one determined to emerge victorious. With a mighty roar, Saurophaganx scratched at Ampelosaurus with its clawed arms and razor-sharp teeth, but the herbivore's regenerative abilities allowed it to endure the onslaught. In a sudden burst of speed, Ampelosaurus teleported near Saurophaganx and stomped on the carnivore with its massive front limbs. Saurophaganx teleported away just in time, evading the stomp and retaliating with another series of scratches. The battle reached a fever pitch as the two dinosaurs collided with explosive force, creating shockwaves that echoed across the landscape. In a final, desperate move, Saurophaganx grabbed Ampelosaurus by the tail with its jaws and flung it into a rock with all its might. The herbivore was knocked out cold, lying defeated on the ground. Saurophaganx, panting heavily from the fierce battle, stood over its fallen opponent for a moment, a sense of victory washing over it. But as the screen focused on the vision of Ampelosaurus slowly fading to black, the herbivore's eyes closed, never to open again. And then, in a cruel twist of fate, Saurophaganx also fell to the ground, exhausted and defeated. The screen zoomed in on the carnivore, its eyes growing heavy as darkness descended. Both dinosaurs lay motionless and lifeless on the devastated ground, the aftermath of their relentless battle evident in the destruction surrounding them. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a shadow over the fallen giants, the world fell silent once more. Words. 409. In the heart of the prehistoric jungle, two mighty dinosaurs clashed in a battle of epic proportions. The ground shook beneath their massive bodies as Saurophaganx, the large-sized predatory theropod with purple glowing eyes, faced off against Ampelosaurus, the medium-sized herbivorous sauropod with armor on its back. The air crackled with tension as the two ancient beasts prepared for combat. Saurophaganx stood idly on the ground, its long-clawed arms poised for attack, when suddenly something hit it from behind. The impact sent Saurophaganx flying, crashing into a rock and shattering it upon impact. The dinosaur got up, slightly disoriented, to see Ampelosaurus staring right at it with its own purple glowing eyes. About time, Saurophaganx growled before lunging at Ampelosaurus with a ferocious roar. The two dinosaurs clashed with a deafening roar, their bodies colliding with a force that generated shockwaves that rippled through the jungle. Ampelosaurus used its increasingly fast-paced reaction speed to outmaneuver Saurophaganx, grabbing its tail and throwing it heavily against a rock. The herbivorous dinosaur then rammed into Saurophaganx with its massive body, using itself as a battering ram. But Saurophaganx was not about to go down without a fight. The predatory dinosaur jumped and landed on the back of Ampelosaurus, only to be shaken off. The two dinosaurs continued their relentless battle, exchanging counter blows with increasing speed and ferocity. The sound of their roars filled the air as they clashed again and again, their attacks generating explosions that rocked the surrounding area. Saurophaganx scratched at Ampelosaurus with its clawed arms and razor-sharp teeth, but the herbivorous dinosaur quickly regenerated and teleported near its opponent to stomp heavily on it. Saurophaganx retaliated by grabbing Ampelosaurus by its tail and thrashing it against a rock. The herbivorous dinosaur was knocked out, lying defeated on the ground. Saurophaganx, panting heavily from the destructive battle, stood victorious for a moment before collapsing to the ground, defeated. The screen focused on the vision of both dinosaurs, their eyes closing as they lay motionless and lifeless on the ground. The once vibrant jungle around them was marred by the destruction wrought by their endless battle. As the sun set on the prehistoric landscape, the defeated dinosaurs served as a reminder of the brutal power of nature and the eternal struggle for survival in a world ruled by primal instincts. And as night fell, the jungle remained silent, haunted by the echoes of a battle that would never be forgotten. Words. 349. Saurophaganx, panting heavily, you put up a good fight, Ampelosaurus. But in the end, I am the superior predator. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, struggling to stand, you may have won this battle, Saurophaganx. But remember, we herbivores are not as defenseless as you may think. Saurophaganx, smirking, oh, I'm well aware of your defenses, Ampelosaurus. But in the end, strength and speed will always triumph over armor. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, challenging, is that so? Let's see if you can handle this. The two dinosaurs lunged at each other once more, their bodies colliding with a tremendous force that sent shockwaves rippling through the ground. Each blow exchanged between them was more powerful than the last, the sound of their roars echoing through the destroyed landscape. Saurophaganx, grunting, you fight well, Ampelosaurus. But it's time to end this. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, determined, I will not go down without a fight, Saurophaganx. With a final surge of energy, the two dinosaurs clashed once more, their bodies entwined in a fierce struggle for dominance. The ground beneath them trembled as they continued to exchange blows, each one more devastating than the last. As the battle raged on, the sky darkened and the air filled with the scent of blood and sweat. The once beautiful landscape was now a wasteland of destruction, a testament to the power of these two mighty creatures locked in combat. Finally, with one last roar, Saurophaganx landed a decisive blow that sent purple-eyed Ampelosaurus crashing to the ground, defeated. But before Saurophaganx could revel in its victory, the exhaustion of battle took its toll, and the predator too fell to the ground, defeated and lifeless. As the dust settled and the sun began to set, the defeated dinosaurs lay motionless on the ground, their bodies forever stilled. The once peaceful land was now a graveyard of their epic battle, a haunting reminder of the destructive power of nature. And so, the tale of Saurophaganx and purple-eyed Ampelosaurus came to a close, their final battle etched into the annals of history as a thrilling and tragic spectacle of primal power and unwavering determination. Words. 439. The sun beat down mercilessly on the barren landscape where the two titans clashed. Saurophaganx, the fearsome predator with glowing purple eyes, stood tall and imposing, its long clawed arms flexing as it surveyed its opponent. Across from it, Ampelosaurus, the armored herbivore with equally eerie purple eyes, stared back with determination. Without warning, Ampelosaurus lunged forward, its massive body colliding with Saurophaganx with a deafening crash. The ground trembled beneath their feet as they locked in a fierce battle, each trying to gain the upper hand. Saurophaganx swiped at Ampelosaurus with its razor-sharp claws, drawing blood with each strike. But Ampelosaurus was quick to retaliate, using its incredible speed and strength to outmaneuver the predator. As the battle raged on, shockwaves rippled through the air, shattering rocks and uprooting trees. The once peaceful landscape was now a war zone, torn apart by the sheer force of the two dinosaurs' clash. The sound of their roars echoed for miles around, a primal symphony of destruction. But as the battle reached its climax, a sense of inevitability hung in the air. Both Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus were pushed to their limits, their bodies battered and bruised from the relentless combat. With one final, desperate effort, Saurophaganx managed to grab hold of Ampelosaurus by the tail, hurling it across the battlefield with all its might. Ampelosaurus crashed into a large rock formation, its armored hide cracking under the impact. For a moment, it lay motionless, its eyes slowly closing as the darkness crept in. Saurophaganx, breathing heavily and exhausted from the brutal fight, stood triumphantly over its fallen foe. But victory came at a cost. As Saurophaganx stood there, basking in its glory, a wave of dizziness washed over it. The ground swayed beneath its feet, and with a final, shuddering breath, the predator collapsed to the ground, lifeless and defeated. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the gentle rustle of the wind through the shattered landscape. The two mighty dinosaurs lay side by side, their once fearsome forms now nothing more than lifeless husks. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a crimson glow over the battlefield, a sense of melancholy settled over the land. The epic battle between Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus had come to an end, leaving only devastation in its wake. The memory of their clash would live on in the annals of history, a tale of two titans locked in an eternal struggle. But for now, the only sound that filled the air was the soft whisper of the wind, carrying with it the echoes of a battle long fought and ultimately lost. Words, 535. Saurophaganx, panting heavily, about time. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, regenerating, you will never defeat me, Saurophaganx. The two dinosaurs continued to clash with incredible force, their every move sending shockwaves rippling through the ground. They fought fiercely, neither willing to back down, each determined to emerge victorious. Saurophaganx, gritting its teeth, I will not be defeated by you, Ampelosaurus. I am the ultimate predator. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, roaring defiantly, we shall see about that, Saurophaganx. I am more powerful than you can ever imagine. The battle raged on, each dinosaur unleashing devastating attacks upon the other. The ground shook with the force of their blows, the air filled with the sound of their ferocious roars. It was a spectacle of unmatched power and destruction. Saurophaganx, lunging forward, take this. Saurophaganx attacked with all its might, claws slashing through the air, jaws snapping viciously. But purple-eyed Ampelosaurus was ready, its quick reflexes allowing it to dodge and counter with lightning speed. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, teleporting behind Saurophaganx, you cannot defeat me, Saurophaganx. I am the defender of this land. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus struck back, ramming into Saurophaganx with incredible force, sending the predator crashing into a nearby rock. Saurophaganx staggered to its feet, shaking off the impact, its eyes glowing with renewed determination. Saurophaganx, snarling, I will not fall to you, Ampelosaurus. I am the one true ruler of this land. The two dinosaurs clashed once more, their battle reaching new heights of intensity. They exchanged blows with such ferocity that the very ground beneath them trembled, cracks forming from the sheer force of their conflict. Saurophaganx, leaping onto purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, you will regret challenging me, Ampelosaurus. But purple-eyed Ampelosaurus was ready, shaking off its opponent with ease, its armor protecting it from Saurophaganx's sharp claws. The battle continued unabated, each dinosaur pushing themselves to their limits in a bid for supremacy. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, roaring triumphantly, you are no match for me, Saurophaganx. I am the guardian of this land, and I will not be defeated. With a final, thunderous clash, the two dinosaurs collided with such force that the very air around them crackled with energy. Explosions erupted all around, lighting up the sky with bursts of fiery light. And then, in an instant, it was over. Saurophaganx, falling to the ground, I cannot. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, also collapsing, you have fought valiantly, Saurophaganx. But in the end, you were no match for me. The two dinosaurs lay motionless on the ground, their bodies broken and battered from their epic battle. The land around them was in ruins, the once peaceful landscape now scarred by their destructive conflict. As the sun began to set, casting a golden light over the battlefield, a lone figure approached. It was a young, up-and-coming dinosaur, bearing witness to the aftermath of the titanic clash between Saurophaganx and purple-eyed Ampelosaurus. Young dinosaur, whispering, what a battle. Such power, such fury. I can only hope to one day be as strong as they were. And with that, the young dinosaur turned and walked away, leaving behind the fallen warriors as the world around them descended into silence. The legend of Saurophaganx and purple-eyed Ampelosaurus would live on, their battle forever etched into the annals of history. Words, 365. Saurophaganx, panting heavily, about time, Ampelosaurus. Let's finish this. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, roaring, you will not defeat me, Saurophaganx. I am stronger than you. The two dinosaurs charged at each other, their massive bodies colliding with a force that created shockwaves in the area. The ground trembled beneath them as they exchanged powerful blows, their purple eyes glowing in the darkness. Saurophaganx, growling, you may be strong, but I am relentless. I will not stop until you are defeated. Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, snarling, we shall see about that, Saurophaganx. The battle is far from over. The dinosaurs continued to fight with ferocity, their claws and jaws tearing at each other's flesh. The sound of their roars filled the air, echoing through the desolate landscape as they clashed in a brutal battle for dominance. As the battle raged on, the sky above them grew dark, the clouds swirling ominously as if sensing the power of the two dinosaurs below. Lightning arced across the sky, illuminating the battlefield in a blinding flash of light. Saurophaganx, roaring triumphantly, "You are no match for me, Ampelosaurus. I will be the victor in this fight." Purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, snarling defiantly, "Do not underestimate me, Saurophaganx. I will not fall so easily." But despite the Ampelosaurus's determination, Saurophaganx's relentless assault proved too much for it to handle. With a final, devastating blow, Saurophaganx sent the herbivorous dinosaur crashing to the ground, defeated and motionless. Saurophaganx stood victorious, but the battle had taken its toll. The dinosaur's body was battered and bruised, its purple eyes slowly dimming as it collapsed to the ground, exhausted and defeated. As the dust began to settle, a silence fell over the battlefield. The only sound was the distant rumble of thunder, as if nature itself mourned the loss of two mighty creatures who had fought so fiercely and valiantly. And so, the story of Saurophaganx and purple-eyed Ampelosaurus came to a tragic end, their bodies lying motionless on the shattered earth as a testament to the power and ferocity of the prehistoric world they once inhabited. The echoes of their battle would linger in the air, a haunting reminder of the destructive forces that dwelled within these ancient creatures. In a prehistoric world filled with towering trees and lush greenery, two mighty dinosaurs engaged in a fierce and brutal battle. Saurophaganx, the large-sized predatory theropod with long clawed arms and purple glowing eyes, stood ready for an epic showdown. As it scanned its surroundings, it never expected to be blindsided by a sudden impact that sent it crashing into a nearby rock, shattering it upon impact. Shaking off the disorientation, Saurophaganx rose to its feet to face its unexpected attacker, the purple-eyed Ampelosaurus. This medium-sized herbivorous sauropod dinosaur with armor on its back stood defiantly before Saurophaganx, ready to defend itself against the relentless predator. About time, Saurophaganx growled with glowing purple eyes, before launching itself into a fierce battle with the Ampelosaurus. The two dinosaurs clashed with ferocious intensity, each determined to emerge victorious in this epic confrontation. Their every move seemed to cause shockwaves that rippled through the terrain, shaking the very ground beneath them. Ampelosaurus showcased incredible speed and agility, using its armored back to deflect Saurophaganx's sharp claws and teeth. In a surprising move, it grabbed Saurophaganx by the tail and hurled it against a rock, causing the ground to tremble with the impact. Undeterred, Saurophaganx retaliated by leaping onto the back of the Ampelosaurus, but it was quickly shaken off by the resilient herbivore. The battle raged on, with both dinosaurs exchanging devastating blows and emitting powerful shockwaves with each attack. The intensity of their conflict reached a crescendo as they collided with such force that explosions erupted around them, creating a chaotic and destructive scene. Saurophaganx continued to scratch and bite at the Ampelosaurus, while the herbivore used its sheer size and strength to overpower its adversary. With a final surge of energy, Saurophaganx managed to grab hold of the Ampelosaurus's tail with its jaws and thrash it with immense force, sending it crashing into a rock. The Ampelosaurus lay motionless, defeated and unable to rise again, its eyes closing as darkness consumed its vision. But victory came at a cost for Saurophaganx, who also collapsed to the ground, exhausted and wounded from the brutal battle. As its eyes slowly closed, the once mighty predator lay defeated and lifeless, its glowing purple eyes fading into darkness. The battleground bore witness to the aftermath of their destructive clash, with both dinosaurs lying motionless and defeated amidst the ruins of their epic confrontation. The once serene landscape now lay in ruins, a testament to the power and fury of these ancient creatures. As the sun began to set on this prehistoric world, a somber silence fell over the battlefield, a reminder of the fierce and relentless nature of survival in a world ruled by dinosaurs. And as the shadows lengthened and night descended, the memory of the epic battle between Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus would live on in the annals of time, a tale of bravery, strength, and sacrifice in a world of ancient wonders and primal instincts. Words. The sun was setting, casting a golden hue over the prehistoric landscape where two titans stood facing each other. Saurophaganx, the large-sized predatory theropod with purple glowing eyes, surveyed the area with a sense of dominance. Suddenly, something hit Saurophaganx from behind, sending the massive dinosaur flying through the air and crashing into a nearby rock. Shaking off the disorientation, Saurophaganx rose to its feet, its purple eyes narrowing as it faced off against the purple-eyed Ampelosaurus, a medium-sized herbivorous sauropod with armored scales on its back. The two dinosaurs stared each other down, tension crackling in the air. About time, Saurophaganx growled, a low rumble emanating from deep within its throat. Without hesitation, the two dinosaurs charged at each other, their battle beginning with a thunderous clash that sent shockwaves rippling through the ground. Ampelosaurus, with its lightning-fast reaction speed, dodged Saurophaganx's attacks with ease, using its massive body as a battering ram to knock the predator off balance. Saurophaganx retaliated, leaping onto Ampelosaurus's back, but the herbivore shook it off with a violent thrash. The two dinosaurs continued to trade blows, their movements becoming a blur of motion as they exchanged counterattacks in a relentless dance of destruction. Explosions erupted around them as they collided with earth-shaking force, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Saurophaganx's clawed arms and razor-sharp teeth tore into Ampelosaurus, but the herbivore's regenerative abilities and teleportation skills kept it one step ahead. Ampelosaurus stomped on Saurophaganx with its massive limbs, each blow echoing with bone-crushing force. As the battle wore on, both dinosaurs grew weary, their movements slowing as exhaustion set in. Saurophaganx managed to grab Ampelosaurus by the tail, thrashing it with all its might before hurling it into a nearby rock. Ampelosaurus lay still, defeated and motionless. But as Saurophaganx stood victorious, panting heavily from the exertion of the battle, it too succumbed to its injuries and collapsed to the ground. The screen focused on the lifeless forms of the two dinosaurs, their once intimidating presence now fading into darkness. The area around them lay in ruins, a testament to the destructive power of their conflict. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a shadow over the fallen titans as nature reclaimed the battlefield. In the end, the battle between Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus had ended in a draw, both creatures laying defeated and lifeless on the ground. The screen faded to black, leaving only the echoes of their ferocious clash lingering in the air. Words. Saurophaganx lay on the ground, panting heavily as it stared at the motionless body of the purple-eyed Ampelosaurus. The once ferocious predator now looked defeated and vulnerable, surrounded by the aftermath of their destructive battle. As the purple glow in Saurophaganx's eyes slowly faded, a voice echoed in its mind. Is this what you desired? To destroy and conquer without remorse? The voice was deep and powerful, sending shivers down Saurophaganx's spine. Saurophaganx slowly raised its head, trying to locate the source of the voice. But all it could see was the lifeless body of the Ampelosaurus, a stark reminder of the consequences of its actions. You have fought bravely, but at what cost? The voice continued, filling Saurophaganx with a sense of unease. Is this the legacy you wish to leave behind? A trail of destruction and death? Saurophaganx remained silent, unable to form a coherent response. It had always prided itself on being a fearsome predator, hunting relentlessly to prove its dominance in the prehistoric world. But now, faced with the consequences of its actions, it felt a pang of regret. You have the power to choose a different path, the voice said, its tone softening slightly. Will you continue down the path of destruction, or will you seek redemption and make amends for the havoc you have wrought? Saurophaganx closed its eyes, contemplating the words of the mysterious voice. It had never considered the impact of its actions on others, too consumed by its primal instincts to hunt and conquer. But now, faced with the truth of its destructive nature, Saurophaganx felt a sense of guilt creeping into its heart. Slowly, Saurophaganx rose to its feet, its purple eyes dimming as it looked at the fallen body of the purple-eyed Ampelosaurus. In that moment, a resolve formed in Saurophaganx's mind. It would seek redemption, make amends for the destruction it had caused, and strive to become a better creature. As the sun set on the prehistoric world, Saurophaganx let out a low, rumbling roar, a promise to itself and the world around it. It would no longer be a creature of destruction, but a guardian of the balance of life. And with that vow, Saurophaganx turned away from the fallen Ampelosaurus and set off into the wilderness, determined to forge a new path of peace and harmony. And so, the story of Saurophaganx, the once fearsome predator with purple glowing eyes, took a new turn, a journey of redemption and transformation, guided by the wisdom of an ancient voice and the desire to right the wrongs of its past. In the darkness of the night, a new chapter began for Saurophaganx, one filled with hope, forgiveness, and the promise of a brighter future. Words. 458. In the prehistoric world where dinosaurs roamed freely, Saurophaganx, the large-sized predatory theropod with long-clawed arms and purple glowing eyes, stood idly on the ground. Suddenly, something hit it from behind, sending Saurophaganx flying and crashing into a rock, shattering it upon impact. As Saurophaganx got up, slightly disoriented, it came face to face with Ampelosaurus, a medium-sized herbivorous sauropod with armor on its back and purple glowing eyes. About time, Saurophaganx with purple glowing eyes muttered before deciding to engage in a fierce battle with the purple-eyed Ampelosaurus. The two dinosaurs clashed endlessly, causing shockwaves wherever they fought. Ampelosaurus used its increasingly fast-paced reaction speed to outmaneuver Saurophaganx, grabbing its tail and hurling it at a rock. In retaliation, Saurophaganx leapt onto Ampelosaurus's back, but the herbivorous dinosaur shook it off and rammed into the predatory dinosaur like a battering ram. The fight escalated as both dinosaurs exchanged counter blows, emitting shockwaves with each attack. Their collision generated explosions all around, showcasing the destructive force of their battle. Saurophaganx used its clawed arms and razor-sharp teeth to scratch Ampelosaurus, while the herbivorous dinosaur regenerated and teleported near Saurophaganx to stomp on it with its massive front limbs. The intense combat continued, with neither dinosaur willing to back down. Eventually, Saurophaganx managed to grab Ampelosaurus by its tail, thrashing and throwing it heavily against a rock. Ampelosaurus was knocked out, lying defeated on the ground. Saurophaganx, heavily panting from the grueling battle, stood victorious for a moment, gazing at its fallen opponent. However, the exertion of the fight took its toll, and Saurophaganx also fell to the ground, collapsing from exhaustion. As the screen focused on the defeated dinosaurs, their eyes slowly closed, signaling the end of their epic battle. The once thriving area now lay in ruins, destroyed by the relentless clash between the two mighty creatures. The image of Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus lying lifeless on the ground captured the finality of their feud, a reminder of the brutal and unforgiving nature of the prehistoric world. The story of Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus served as a thrilling tale of conflict and rivalry, showcasing the raw power and ferocity of dinosaurs in their prime. It was a testament to the dangers that lurked in the ancient world, where survival of the fittest reigned supreme. And as the sun set on the battlefield, casting a somber light on the fallen giants, it was a stark reminder of the harsh realities of a world ruled by tooth and claw. Words. 416. Saurophaganx. About time we settled this once and for all, Ampelosaurus. I've been waiting for this moment. Ampelosaurus roars in response, staring down Saurophaganx with determination in its purple glowing eyes. The two dinosaurs clashed with a deafening roar, causing shockwaves to ripple through the surrounding area. The ground shook beneath their immense weight as they exchanged vicious blows, each trying to gain the upper hand. Saurophaganx, with its long clawed arms and razor-sharp teeth, lunged at Ampelosaurus, only to be met with a fierce counterattack. The herbivorous sauropod used its armored back and massive front limbs to defend itself, pushing Saurophaganx back with surprising agility. As the battle raged on, the intensity of their attacks increased, creating explosions and destruction all around them. The sheer force of their collision sent rocks flying and trees tumbling, painting a chaotic picture of primal violence. Saurophaganx managed to grab Ampelosaurus by the tail, thrashing it against the rocks with all its might. But the resilient herbivore quickly recovered, teleporting near Saurophaganx and delivering a devastating stomp with its front limbs. The predators' ferocity matched by the sauropods' resilience, the battle seemed endless as they relentlessly attacked each other, refusing to back down. The air crackled with energy as their purple glowing eyes locked in a fierce stare, each determined to emerge victorious. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of combat, both dinosaurs reached their limits. Saurophaganx, panting heavily and barely standing, looked upon the now motionless form of Ampelosaurus with a mix of triumph and exhaustion. As the defeated herbivore lay still on the ground, its eyes slowly closing in defeat, Saurophaganx's own strength began to wane. The predatory theropod, having pushed itself to the brink in their endless battle, collapsed to the ground, the darkness of defeat closing in on its own glowing eyes. The once thriving battleground now lay in ruins, a testament to the destructive power of these ancient beasts. The dust settled, the echoes of their clash faded into the distance, leaving behind only the stillness of defeat and the weight of a battle that had finally come to an end. In the fading light, the defeated forms of Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus lay side by side, a silent testament to the primal forces that had driven them to such destructive ends. The cycle of life and death continued in the ancient world, where even the mightiest of creatures were felled by the relentless march of time. Words. 408. Saurophaganx, the large-sized predatory theropod with long-clawed arms and purple glowing eyes, stood idly on the ground, waiting for its next meal. Suddenly, out of nowhere, something hit Saurophaganx from behind, sending it flying and crashing into a nearby rock, shattering it upon impact. As the dust settled, Saurophaganx got up, slightly disoriented, only to come face to face with an unexpected opponent. Before it stood Ampelosaurus, a medium-sized herbivorous sauropod dinosaur with armor on its back and purple glowing eyes of its own. The two dinosaurs locked eyes for a moment, the tension palpable as they sized each other up. About time, Saurophaganx with purple glowing eyes muttered, before launching itself at the unsuspecting Ampelosaurus. The ensuing battle between Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus was nothing short of epic. The ground shook with each blow, and shockwaves radiated outwards as the two behemoths clashed. Ampelosaurus, with its increasingly fast-paced reaction speed, managed to outmaneuver Saurophaganx at every turn, using its massive body as a battering ram to knock the predatory dinosaur off balance. Saurophaganx, with its razor-sharp teeth and clawed arms, retaliated with ferocity, scratching and biting at Ampelosaurus in a desperate attempt to gain the upper hand. But Ampelosaurus, with its regenerative abilities and surprising teleportation skills, proved to be a formidable opponent, countering Saurophaganx's every move with precision and skill. The battle raged on, each dinosaur pushing themselves to their limits in an effort to emerge victorious. Explosions rocked the area as the two titans collided with devastating force, the very ground beneath them trembling from the sheer intensity of their confrontation. Despite their best efforts, neither Saurophaganx nor Ampelosaurus could gain a clear advantage. The battle reached a climax as Saurophaganx managed to grab Ampelosaurus by the tail and thrash it against a nearby rock, knocking the herbivore unconscious. As Ampelosaurus lay defeated on the ground, its eyes slowly closing in a final act of surrender, Saurophaganx too succumbed to its injuries, collapsing to the ground in exhaustion. The screen focused on both dinosaurs, their once mighty forms now lifeless and motionless, a testament to the destructive power of their battle. The area around them lay in ruins, a stark reminder of the ferocity and raw power that had been unleashed during their epic confrontation. As the dust settled and the silence descended, a somber atmosphere hung in the air, a testament to the fallen giants who had met their end in a clash of titans. In the end, Saurophaganx and Ampelosaurus lay side by side, their rivalry coming to a final, tragic conclusion. The screen faded to black, leaving only the memory of their epic battle etched into the annals of history, a tale of courage, strength, and the relentless pursuit of victory that would never be forgotten. Words. 462.